Yo, we back again. If you throw it in the towel, then you back in sin. We need the Holy Spirit, please let the chaplain in. Here at the front door, chilling with a childish grin. We can now begin. Now the truth be told, we're riding on the light to let the youth get old. And following the one that will soothe your soul and take your bad situation and improve your role to release your flow. It's a long stretch to loosen all the nooses from the baby's necks. And tell the young ladies they should save the sex. And tell the young guys not to break their neck for the place of sex, but get the paycheck. And real women really don't play that. A wise lesson learned really, really way back. I used to okay that. The Lord saved me, Jack, from a life of whack. Come on. Into the black light, exit the man. Oh, you into the black light, exit the man. Yeah, you might want to start paying attention on this next verse. You akin to the black light, exit. Give me your attention for a minute. Damn. We from the same cut, but playing different positions. A top secret message got the president attention. Do what you do, just make the good folk listen. And trust me, yo, it's not about who you kissing. There is a plan to see you chewed up and shit out. The devil's burning red from the fire that we spit out. We only get up, the hell with that down low. Cherish the gift of the wisdom that we found, yo. Still on the mission with the daily agenda. Your head's been cloudy, so I doubt you to remember that I walk with the king of kings beside me. Just like the root in India, I read. I volunteer, know the Lord didn't hire me. It is the spirit that inspired me. Water of life to show the chief where the fiery. We have no time for those that be acting grimy. You see the light now? Boy, I've been talking to y'all for a while. You see, you thought this was for like some type of game. Man, revolution. Yeah. When you're free, your mind, your ass will follow. That's for real. And some of y'all locked up so bad, don't nobody have to put chains on you. Hell, you chain yourself down mentally, spiritually. Come on, free your mind, dude. You a king. Free your mind, chick. You a queen.
I know. It's like,
let me get something with some feel to it, some funk to it. Come on. I think I like that. Can we get some heavy drums in there? More like Caribbean. Caribbean. Yeah. Yes. Bounce to this. I'm just a black man title, yo, you give me that. I like them imports, never push the Cadillac. And would you figure, Mr. Man, while you're kicking back with sick plans to get you stacked, making chickens fat? You know you into that, chilling with your timber cat. Intoxicated to the point, past sinful acts. Be very nimble, Jack, or you'll get a water back. And have your heart broke just like a heart attack. Look where your power at, no, not the idle cats. It's deeper than tats and hurricanes and old maps. The spirit flows, so my folks throw daps. Meant for the wise as well as the spoiled rats. So you can fold up or either you can fold back. I hold no judgment over those that are chose crack. Terror over habit that has been proven to hold back. With God on your side, you can get your soul back. Yeah. We need some 3 parts on this, man. So, I can't carry my boys at chorus. Come on, line up. Yo, I'm gonna need y'all 3-part harmony on this. I don't know how you gonna work it out, but work it out. Hope you can see by the end of the night how deep this music is. What is it proud of the man to gain the world and lose his soul? Hope you can see by the end of the night how deep this music is. What is the profit of man to gain the world and lose your soul? Get to the room, you feel a certain doom. You might lose your hearing from the sonic boom. Out of the mouth is a sword and I'm taking you out. You try to stop me and I'm taking you out. Man, I wish I had an apprentice to build this work. Collaborate on synthesis. And I hope you remember this. Keep your enemy near to you. far away, keep those that are dear to you. I hate beer, but I used to drink the brew heavily until the little habit turned deadly. I used to have a bud every day and all week, intoxicated to the point where I couldn't hardly speak. So do the knowledge, that means hold your head, let the past stay dead, and keep a level head, and don't be misled. Remember most of what I said, I'm hot like times in a rock, but you got us hot from working on the block.
By the end of the night, how deep this music is. What is it, private demand to gain the world and lose your soul? Hope you can see by the end of the night how deep this music is. What is it, private demand to gain the world and lose your soul?
Mike's handed, I'm speaking candid. Understand this is the way that the masses demand it. I have wisdom, but God planned it. General media bandit. I blow flows on beaches and make you wonder where the sand went. The Taliban spent more times in design to destroy cities. My rhymes inspire minds. I'm known as Big Papa, but I ain't your daddy yet. But I could be your bro if you could get the concept. There'd be many that stand whenever I rip, but it's devastation whenever I rip. I spit flows that hit like mouth on tits, straight legit. You fake rappers need to understand that felonies, gunfights and drugs don't make a true MC. And I will do more than talk this talk. I will defiantly walk this walk. There's no need to spaz. Your nose bleeding while I'm beating your ass. You in the cesspool.
Hope you can see by the end of the night how deep this music is. What is it, private demand to gain the world and lose your soul? Hope you can see by the end of the night how deep this music is. What is it, private?
Ancient Chinese secret now. Yes. Did you not pay attention in your history class, partner? Wake up. Yes, sir. Partner. Wake up. Yes, sir. Partner. Wake up, son. It is written that there's nothing new under the sun. Nothing new. And that the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. So take your position. Don't you know you are part of that scripture, yo? Yo, you've been getting in the way and what you knock you down. Yes, but we gon' bring the light, yeah. A Max B production, baby. You know what it is. Listen, I'm known to tell you to fight back. There's no need to sell crack just to live fat. Why don't black superstars simply give back when they know it's a struggle just to live black? Can you picture that, Mr. Aristocrat? I'm coming from the bottom, rising to the top, and conscious is the tone on the CDs I drop. I won't flip-flop like a black bass, but I will put a message in the song before I hook your ass. See, we first-class living, worse than slaves of the earlier days, and we adapted the ways of the slave master. I stand upon it, the very rock which put your people in bondage just to get 100. The big face kind, and it don't matter if it's making people lose their freaking mind. That's why I'm speaking mine, hopefully to change yours, to pull you out of these streets from these drugs and strange whores. Huh.
Is anybody there? Is there love out there? Is anybody care? Is there love out there?
It's like we died inside, no longer having pride. We're still for rides, a new skill to hide. And like the red tide, go and get our heads dyed. Rebel against the laws in the cities we reside. Sleep the circumstance, though our eyes open wide. Fail to coexist, let alone coincide. Eat chicken many ways, but prefer it fried. Like your man on death row when his relatives cried. Is death a mistake because somebody lied? And we can only pray that Christ is by his side. Convicted on the statement implied with no proof. Now will the warden cry that he killed another youth? I truly doubt it, that's why we stay in the booth. Just cause it ain't enough, we should demand and show proof. And if they overlook our voices, then we raise the roof. Which one of y'all do?
Is anybody there? Is there love out there? Is anybody there? Is there love out there?
Treat your people like seeing that I feel like I'm a slave, maybe slave. Yo, man, you made a serious mistake, babe. When That's how you handle me, homie. Slave to the system. Yeah, that sound like a winner right there. Come on, come on. A slave to the system, then I broke free. Although I may not be with, I wanna see my folk free. A slave to the system, then I broke free. Although I may not be with, I wanna see my folk free. A slave to the system, then I broke free. Although I may not be with, I wanna see my folk free. A slave to the system, then I broke free. Although I may not be with, I wanna see my folk free. Hold up a minute, fam, let me ask you this. Did your last promotion offer you an ass to kiss? Hashtag for this. I know a better way, and many honestly wonder why you bash the shit. Your heart's got to be right to make it from here. For animosity and hate, you can place it here. No time for pity, we partying all the way. No time to be the victim, we got a call to take. Keep it square and watch God fall to fate. A linebacker reads well before they call the play. Hoping you all would say, hoping we all would pray. Invest a little bit of time in the taller day. Forget the ball and play. We got stakes in Israel with much more beef than the Shaw can say. Now that's the scholar's way. No lust for the cause of throwbacks. In fact, give them all away. A slave to the system, then I broke free. Although I may not be with, I wanna see my folk free. A slave to the system, then I broke free. Although I may not be with, I wanna see my folk free. A slave to the system, then I broke free. Although I may not be with, I wanna see my folk free. A slave to the system, then I broke free. Although I may not be with, I wanna see my folk free. Inside my circles are deep bows and little Urkels, and need no brown types with no remorse if they hurt you. Many out to take you, plotting schemes for your paycheck. And no, I'm not a snitch just because I come and say that. Look, dude, I don't play that. When my boy G-Lo was killed, you know you saw me on the news. If you choose to look way back, so stay back. I'm militant like Osama, intelligent like Obama, and you can ask your mama. No need to wonder. I'm like the 10th one under the commission of the author of life. When I was younger, I would do what a thug would tend to do. And if you got the last lick, quickly remember you. Our lives change, but still things remain the same. Slave masters got these brothers' brains and chains. Yo, I'm feeling your pain. Down and out in life, saying your prayers, but not seeing the change. We in the sin age. A slave to the system, then I broke free. Although I may not be with, I wanna see my folk free. A slave to the system, then I broke free. Although I may not be with, I wanna see my folk free. A slave to the system, then I broke free. Although I may not be with, I wanna see my folk free. A slave to the system, then I broke free. Although I may not be with, I wanna see my folk free. My advice and dismiss the current hit list. These cats are getting fat from facades and illusions, causing grief and confusion. God knows the rap game need a new son. Here I am, here Lord you can use me. Please don't let the industry abuse me, and let the anointed choose me. And the sheep that's walking to sleep will rise that's groovy. I'm taking strong stands and they can't move me. I'm armed with the verbal Uzi. I'm on my good foot and watching my steps, quiet as kept. If you gamble, place your bets, for God is with me. And there's no way to win playing the odds against me. Most of these cats have money, but their soul is empty. And the guilty is the one who stole Kunta Kinte. 1 million man together won't change a thing. If we only choose to hate a slang or gang bang, we will never see a change.
Are you tired of this rap music? Are you tired of this rap music? The damn porn jack music.
Yeah.
This shit by the next music. It's much more than black music. Are you
Yo,
tired of this rap music?
I know you are. Be real with me.
Damn porn jack music. I see this shit by the
Hold on
next
for the
music.
second verse.
It's much more than black music.
Can you hear me now? Look, it should be crystal clear. Can you hear me now? It's like right in your ear. Can you hear me now? I have a real important question. Can you hear me now? Get your pen as I wreck it. I'm making moves back, very kept close. It's a hustle and sling dope tracks on both coasts. In the Gulf of Mexico, they all know in yo, bro. They feeling the pulse and they begging for more. Perceived as dirty, although I'm clean as a whistle. Precise flows target your heart like missiles. And when I hit the mark, I blow you out in the dark. Whether you're straight as an arrow or your heart is far. How could you think things for us gon' never get right when they only seen us in a negative light? Just to change things, I'm using all of my might, but yet we argue and fight throughout the day and night. If you're a crackhead, show me who you basing with. See, I can actually go fiction than relationship. Maybe it's deep depression that you're dealing with, causing you to spill off into the illness pit. This time around, there's a change of plans. This time around, it's shameful men. This time around, we'll be keeping it tight. No longer seeing each other in a negative light. And if the president's right, I would support the cause, but he's not. If he's obviously breaking God's laws, ain't no man perfect. We all have flaws, but here's a few words of wisdom for all of y'all.
Are you tired of this rap music? Are you tired of this rap music? The damn porn jack music. I see this shit by the next music. It's much more than black music. Are you tired of this rap music? Are you tired of this whack music? This damn porn jack music. I suggest you buy the next music. It's much more than black music.
Yeah, oh, oh. Taking over the airwaves. Let's play. Oh, I know God's coming this way. Yeah, we're taking over the airwaves. We're taking over the airwaves. Let's play.
One objective, Jack, and let's get my crown back and restoring relationships with surround that. And yes, you bobbing your head because these clowns are whack. Broken English transport, so the sounds exact. There was a bleach, bruh, and that's why I teach, bruh. You know your folks with the shit back in the Middle East, bruh. Seed of the sun, making pleas to the young, holding Christ in their bosom, but conceding the guns. Knowledge is free. Take the reading for fun and set a goal for finally meaning the one. Get all excited for he has a place where you either the devil or disgrace can replace you, dude. So let's face it, dude, you gotta go like me. Family history and legacy was stole like these. Revenging souls that were hung on trees and restoring light to the lost souls of this brain disease.
Taking over the airwaves. Let's play. Cause I know God's coming this way. Yeah, we're taking over the airwaves. We're taking over the airwaves. Let's play. Cause I know God's coming this way. Yeah, we're taking over the airwaves.
Hey yo, I'm looking for directions, bruh. Yo, you harboring the essence, bruh. But you got to elevate and walk that out. Too many imposters simply want to talk that out. Let them know if they talk about it, they best to be about it. Form a plan and then plot a decree about it. And if they fail to produce the juice out of your life, give these imposters a boost. We need to see the proof. Blind faith for most. Lead the lost to a boat to get ready to float. Or find a knife at your throat. Cannot see these actions lead the bind into a large sea of rough traction and deep dissatisfaction. The shit is passing, its borders on demonic. Whether Christian, Jewish, Buddhist, or Islamic, it make me want to vomit when I see the mess. And when you're dealing with the righteous, you can see the rest.
Taking over the airwaves. Let's play. Cause I know God's coming this way. Yeah, we're taking over the airwaves. We're taking over the airwaves. Let's play. Cause I know God's coming this way. Yeah, we're taking over the airwaves.
Oh, excuse me.
Yo, man, he went to the store. Hey, you seen Trayvon, man? Nah, man, no, man, I don't know what you're talking about, boy.
Go ahead and get soon to reading because it seems like, I guess because of that post I put up showing, they put a gold at, you know, first of all, that last video I did last night, it was legitimate. It was legitimate, no swearing, no nothing. I'm not calling no fake Jews or this, that, and other, regardless of the facts. When I last checked, it's already, any of y'all went and watched the whole thing with the caucus hearings, talking about, not caucus, but the witch call hearings, talking about how the government, it doesn't matter what these idiot CEOs say, because they're not nothing. Just like the Federal Reserve is not nothing. That censorship, no matter what. First of all, I'm not a citizen. I'm no U.S. nothing. And these monkeys don't know that if I wanted, I can go and win litigation against them. But they're too stupid to know that because they have the little minions who don't know nothing in positions to sit there and because they think that they're safe. They sign these contractual agreements and they believe themselves to be safe. That's not the case. All right. So I hit him up and sent to Earl. And first of all, trying to say to Earl doesn't. I was like, oh, these people are crazy. So I went over and did it right on there, and it's there. I'm like, you can't make this up. Because you know, when you have individuals who you're calling out, and even though they're converted, right, or say they're not, they feel some kind of way. Well, no, we don't care about their feelings. So I put it up there, and y'all know the video. It was legitimate. Researched information that I've saved. And I didn't even put not even a quarter of it out. And so I hit him up. I said, oh, did you put it in to be ready? Well, this is what they do. I don't have no feelings behind it, but look, if they want to sit there and acclimate to saying they have guidelines, that means that they want to say that they're right. This is what I'm talking about, the colonization, okay? The fact that I don't care about what oath they make into whatever. I don't have an oath with this fake government, nor an oath with any of these departments or anything under me. See, this is the problem where they make the mistake. They're too hard-headed to know to do better because they think that, oh, well, this will be just, you know, what do they call it? Friendly fire or, you know, in the wrong place at the wrong time. No, they're actually, in my eyesight, an eyesight they don't want to be in. It's like I took a loan out some time ago, you know, shouldn't have. And these people, I knew that they were paid, and I even said this to them, and I recorded it. I said, you already get paid because I gave you my social security number. You already kept, but you want to double dip in my account. So you know that regardless if I pay you, I'm coming after you. Now, I'm not one to do all the paperwork stuff, right? Though I know how to, and it's not a long, arduous journey. Nor reaching out to them, and they can play ignorant. But see, I know how to write the most perfect affidavit for the CEO to go, well, okay, it's just one. See, this is what the idiot thinks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and hit them up for that. And then for the time based on interest, so that's going to be almost $250,000. Oh, yeah, I've already started working on an affidavit. It's going to be first class. I'm going to send it to several different places. And so all they have to do is go, look, back up off, and it's all fine and dandy. Now, that's all they had to do at that time. So I'm going after. They want to talk about president signed this in the law. That's for a citizen of the United States. I am no United States citizen. It's like when I fill out the NICS. I don't have to put I am a United States citizen. I mean, the hypocrisy is most people are ignorant to this. They want you to think that you're going to go to some court which don't exist and talk to some judge which is a fiduciary. It doesn't exist. They're supposed to have a checkbook for wasting my time if I choose to go and deal as a nation. A whole body of a sentient creature, nothing on that. Their misrepresentation and misinterpretation, and the further they rear more ignorant people into the fold, is what we're dealing with. The reason why I curse is with intention. To show you exactly what and who they are, because they're nobody. They're weak. They really believe they have control. And you know what believe alludes to and means. So I said, let me share this so you can see what I was saying. Because for a minute there, a whole lot of videos were green. Then all of a sudden, after they realized they made a mistake. You know, I saved that video, and I think, Ganja, hopefully you did too. Because I went over the video like several times. And I'm like, what in the world? Where's medical misinformation? First of all, I can say what I want about the fake medical establishment. I can say anything I want about a vaccine. I can say whatever I want. No CEO, no fraudulent government, no outside entity or source, no matter the dumb agents, can say or do anything other than, oh, we're going to censor you, as if that's some big thing. Like it means something. This is how stupid they are. Because they're emotionally unstable and you got a whole lot of hims that thinks they're she's, a whole lot of she's that thinks they're hims, or you just have a whole bunch of hims who've been militarily trained, who sit up here, who are computer literate and have the best of food or whatever they think is the best of food. We're really not supposed to eat at all. But that's a whole nother topic. Okay? They think without thinking. They have processed a whole lot of things and enumerated themselves in a position of fiction. And they can't help themselves. Because they're so busy attempting to get around and wheedle around. Every time I see one of them, it's an enemy. Man, I look at them. Right off the back, I know if they're wearing a mask. Man, I say nothing. Right off the back. Man, I just look at them. Just don't get 2 feet away from me. Matter of fact, don't even get 6 feet away from me. See, they actually believe in the illusion. See, right now, y'all think drone warfare is new. No. Right now, they have a whole lot of folk in this land living in certain buildings where the people who were there before have been removed and put government entities in, sellouts and goofies all the way around, children raised in obscurity. Not all children go missing, there are blood sacrifices. And then they bring in all their equipment and all the weapons they're going to need. And then at night, they take them and they train them. Y'all have no idea about what's about to happen because you're sleeping. You're sleeping and you're comfortable. You're comfortable. How can anybody be comfortable right now? I'm not saying get uncomfortable, but sometimes you need to move in paranoia and you need to be uncomfortable. That's why you think they're creating red flag laws and all this stuff, because they want to be able to hamper you being able to do what you need to do because you've given them power that they never had. Right now with the food and the gas and all that, because we got idiots listening to a knucklehead from the CIA wearing a mask every once in a while, who's an older guy, playing Biden. Then you have the real Biden standing up there, can't even get a word out because they done drugged him up after they had him in his home, hooked up to IVs, blood cleansing. So then they have the little agent who's old and probably got some issues, but he has clarity, and he does one of the worst acting jobs, whichever one it is, and nobody seems to notice it. Okay? So it's funny to me. You look at Bill Clinton 3-4 years ago, and then look at him yesterday. But see, because y'all allow the show to go on. I am so tired of Black Lives Matter, white power, white racism, black racism. And now most Pelicans are starting to realize the reality. And it's always when they are getting bothered. Oh, why don't we have unity? Why are we not together? Because you people are stupid. And some of our people have been made ignorant by the very system that's supposed to educate. That don't educate them at all, but make them even dumber. And then by the food they eat. You know how many people are looking at YouTube famous, got a million views, and even gun guys, GH Hustle and them going to get Rambo J, going to get Black Rambo, Rambo J, going to get Chick-fil-A. Like, when are they going to snap out of it and realize, wait a minute, I'm useful, but that's going to come crashing down on them because their testosterone level is lower than mine. And I'm almost 60 by the narrative. I don't chase numbers, nor do I recognize this age. I really don't. All right? I don't care about a birthday. I don't care about how old I am. This is for your entertainment or information purposes. All right? But because all of you are so liquidated in that, and you choose not to be be away from that and become part of a true nation, that's not about monetary. When we take all our fiat, it doesn't matter if one person makes $100 a week, another person makes $2,000. Put it together to have a sound structure while you can. But because they are getting the W while y'all are taking the L. And so I have to mitigate these false terms to which I make no contract, nor I'll have one with. When they send me something, you sign this, not to say, man, that signature, I ain't signed nothing. I ain't put my blood or my thumbprint or anything, and it's meaningless. Just like the Cornetare, I make the same oath because I do not recognize no false apparition or apparition. Operation or apparition. I don't recognize none of it. So it's meaningless. It's moot when you cannot perform the same tasks or duties. You become null and void. The reason with that is, see, that's really powerful. Not the manipulation by the federal government of people who are made to be dead or those who have been dead. Dead. See, there's a difference. Big difference. I know a lot of you punched the time clock. A lot of you went and said, well, I got to do this. You had enough time to listen to what I was saying to make change. And you did not. I told the lady when I gave her the rent check, I said, you know, this is probably going to be the first or the second last one. She said, huh? I said, don't worry. He knows. Whenever I open house and you want to come here and look at stuff and buy it, I ain't going to sit up here dusting and wiping stuff off. You can do it yourself. That'll be a $3 deduction. Because that's probably how much I would charge just to do it myself. She's like, what? Yeah. No weapons, of course. No ammo. But the reality is y'all keep playing. There is no white folk, no black folk. Where are the we're white power and black power? Where is the American power? See, this is what some of the pale skins and the brothers been crying for the longest, but the pale skins are starting to scream. Because they see everything dilapidating, falling down around them because of their ignorance. And they mammies and pappies and mammies before them. And now they've nurtured their children. Now some of the little goofy racists who move in those little communities, they can be stepped on like a mouse or an ant. All right? No significant than the smallest flea. All right? Still moving, making sure the children are young and dumb, groomed. And the psionics of this apparition we call frequency is actually controlling the narrative because a whole lot of you getting blood work and getting shots, you have been chipped unawareingly. Oh, yes, you have. So the frequency is increase of their negative frequency cause an effect when it's well known that sounds, acoustic sounds, can put a baby to sleep, cause your teeth to grow back, cause bones to mend overnight, cause eyesight to clear up, your system to purge all impurities. It's well known. But because everybody is morally defunct and inadequately safe, that means very sick, you're dealing with a world that is not a phenomenon, but a perversion. Let's go ahead and get this read. So let's go ahead and get Facts Are Facts by Benjamin H. Friedman. All right. My views. I actually take a screenshot. Whenever you see me go like this, some of y'all haven't seen it, I'll walk behind it. I hit both buttons to do a screenshot. And then I look at the views. And then when I go to hang it up, turn it off, I take a screenshot of the views. And then I go into the and I look. I'm like, wow, 2 views. So what one individual attempted to say, this is the nonsense. Oh, yeah, that's because you just uploaded it, so it's going to get the 2 views. Really? Like somebody came over and watched it just now when I just uploaded it? I says, you know what? You people are insistently stupid. Take it personal. I have no emotions or feelings. I really don't. But I'm addressed to things. It's not so much a right and wrong with me, y'all. It's either you're righteous or you're not. And I'm not a righteous person. And I'm not righteous at all. I'm good at whatever I do. All of it's easy. And listen, the statement those who really don't bother nobody make when they say just leave me alone, that's what people with these and anybody and everybody should really do is pay attention to those who are not in the moment of emotions or feelings, who just don't care, who says, just leave me alone. It's not what they think. These individuals are totally different. And they know it. But because they're so consistent in their own hypocrisy and their own made-up narrative, made up, you better believe that and know that. I have a deeper understanding of that. They are their own dilemma. And I ain't no slick silver-tongued talker. Frequency or riddler spewer. Not at all. I stand on the foundation. So anyway, let's get into it. And the Facts Are Facts, Benjamin H. Friedman. And that was directly to them. And in case you didn't know, to know where to stand, that was for you as well. I can become a preacher and have a few million followers in weeks. Easy. Some people say, well, Red, why don't you do that? Nope. I don't want to lie. What I got to lie for? Why do I have to lie? Why do I need to lie? There's some things I don't have to tell you. It's none of your business. You have more. Y'all have more secrets. One of you have more secrets than I can have in a whole entire lifetime. And trust me, in a day, y'all have more secrets in a day than I can have in a lifetime. That's a fact. It's not that I have to free myself from them. I don't care. In the existing crisis, it is neither logical nor realistic to drive Christians out of the Christian fold in relatively large numbers for the dubious advantage to be obtained by bringing a comparatively small number of so-called or self-styled Jews into the Christian fold. Reading it from a book so you don't get all offended, you fake Jews. Anyway, it is useless to try to deny the fact that today finds the Christian faith on the defense throughout the world. This realization staggers. Why do you think they're supporting the fake Jews? Staggers the imagination of the few Christians who understand the situation. This status of the Christian faith exists in spite of the magnificent contributions of the Christian faith to the progress of humanity and civilization for almost 2,000 years. I hope you all enjoyed that movie and took the time to watch it. All-Star Travel On, Bing Along and All-Stars Traveling, Bing Alongs, whatever the friggin' frack. How many of y'all ever watched Buck and the Preacher? You ever look at the individuals when the fake Northerners is talking to them who are migrating from so-called Tennessee or whatever? You ever paid attention who wrote the movie and who directed it? You ever paid attention to all the Gujars in there, Chazars? Has anybody ever paid attention to any of that? I would advise you to go and watch them. Anyway, and you'll know by entertainment purposes only how they swayed a whole people on their land to think, well, to believe otherwise. Anyway, almost 2,000 years. It is not my intention in this letter to expose the conspirators who are dedicating themselves to the destruction of the Christian faith, nor to the nature and extent of the conspiracy itself. That exposure would fill many volumes. The history of the world, and it's not just the Zionists, y'all need to know, they're just a puppet itself. The history of the world for the past several centuries and current events at home and abroad confirm the existence of such a conspiracy. So if we say centuries, 700 years, and we go back to the time of this writing or its publishing, and we think about the time sixth century up to the 2000s, well, you think about a 1,000 year at it. Now I want you to take it back to around the first. Now do the math. The history of the world for the past several centuries and current events at home and abroad confirm the existence of such a conspiracy. The worldwide network of diabolical conspirators implement this plot against the Christian faith while Christians appear to be sound asleep. The Christian clergy appear to be more ignorant or more indifferent about this conspiracy than other Christians. They seem to bury their heads in the sands of ignorance or indifference, like the legendary ostrich. This ignorance or indifference on the part of the Christian clergy has dealt a blow to the Christian faith already from which it may never completely recover, if at all. It does seem very sad, doesn't it? Christians deserve to be blessed in this crisis. Be blessed. Well, he obviously wasn't aware of certain linguistics. With the spiritual Paul Revere to ride across, and he was a traitor, the nation warning Christians that their enemies are moving in on them fast. My dear Goldstein, will you volunteer to be that Paul Revere? Some would say, well, if you're arguing those points, well, these are simplistic points. As far as the narrative of what he is stating is the fact that he's part of the Zionist narrative to create the new Jews. Christians deserve to be blessed in this crisis with the spiritual Paul Revere to ride across the nation warning Christians that their enemies are moving in on them fast. My dear Dr. Goldstein, will you volunteer to be that Paul Revere? Of equal importance to pinpointing the enemies who are making war upon the Christian faith from the outside is the necessity to discover the forces at work inside the Christian faith, which make it so vulnerable to its enemies on the outside. As above, so below, as outside, so within, or as within, so outside. Applying yourself to the specific phase of the problem can prove of tremendous value in rendering ineffective the forces responsible for this dangerous state of affairs. The souls of millions of Christians who are totally unknown to you are quite uneasy about the status of the Christian faith today. The minds of countless thousands among the Christian clergy are troubled by the mysterious pressure from above which prevents them exercising their sound judgments in this situation. Now, if the forces being manipulated against the Christian faith from the inside can be stopped, the Christian faith will be able to stand upon its feet against its enemies as the Rock of Gibraltar. Unless this can be done soon, the Christian faith appears destined to crumble and to eventually collapse. An ounce of prevention is far preferable to a pound of cure. You can be sure in this situation, as in all others. So we're looking for an ounce of prevention. Are y'all that prevention? That could be preferable to a pound of a cure. Most would think that would be the dollar, the necessity created by the enemy that keeps everybody in a place of purging and insecurity and secular division. I'm just asking. Oh yeah, I didn't want to do. 100 years of lynching will pick up on Wednesday. I have 4 very ones. Ooh, these ones right here. Honestly, y'all read the book, you know. Or you don't remember, and they'll be refreshing. You'll go, oh, I remember that story. But for those who never read it, ooh, chaff. The Negro Project, forwarded by Ron Evers, by Bruce Fleury. Margaret Sanger's diabolical duplicitous, you know, the 5 Ds. Right? I showed it. I didn't, you know. She looked like that thing off The Wizard of Oz. Anywho. I need something to drink, and I need more than just tea. I have to get my green drink here in a minute. Okay. Judge Greer had an opportunity to take a stand for life in the Terry Schiavo case. Now remember, this woman supposedly fell, went to a coma, serious head injuries and stuff. And the man, the husband, you know, but they're not, it's ruled that it was an accident. And she was in a coma, unresponsive, feeding tubes alike, and they wanted to pull the plug, okay? And so the state, well, let's go ahead. You should remember or go back and watch the video, okay? Excuse me. Whew. Oh, too much air with that one. Judge Greer had an opportunity to take a stand for life in the Terry Schiavo case. He had the chance to tell the euthanasia, you know what I'm talking about, crowd that she would not be permitted to die if he had anything to say about it. That they would have to find someone else to do their dirty work for them. He had the opportunity to do the right thing by allowing the family that loved her so much to care for her during her time of crisis. Perhaps Terry would never have emerged from her permanent vegetative state. Maybe she would never have recovered her motor functions or cognitive abilities. Tragically, we will never know. She never let anyone know exactly what her wishes were. The one thing we do know for sure is that a judge decided he was going to play God and decide who would live and who would die. We see that quite often, especially in Texas, Louisiana. You know the states. We still have some sundown towns that shouldn't exist because Negroes are too lazy and cowardly. Today we just, and I would say brothers and sisters, but how can I? Today we justly decry as barbaric the excesses, crimes, and atrocities that were committed 3/4 of a century ago by the German government. Lies. It was this government, all the other ones ran by the Gujars, against its most helpless and defenseless citizens. No, they didn't bother their own citizens. They lived well. Those who were enfeebled, deformed, handicapped, or gravely ill through no fault of their own, and if you know the truth here, these same bastards would meet the same fate, sadly, but it's the truth. of their own. We look at the Nuremberg laws, the racial cleansing statutes, and the forced euthanasia programs of Hitler's regime that were aimed at creating a so-called master race, and wonder how a nation so rich in history and culture, which produced some of the greatest artists, musicians, scientists, philosophers, mathematicians, legal scholars, and technical minds in all of Western civilization, could have embarked on a road that could only end in lost lives, untold misery, and human destruction. You got to remember, Jesse Owens, Hitler was no racist. He wanted to meet him. He wasn't surprised. He just wanted to be equal to what we had already created. He was well aware of who built up Germany and everything else. The Gujars, the fake Charizards, wanted to eradicate that history. I told you I went to Germany and I learned the truth, even in Edinburgh, Scotland, and numerous other places. This is what they want to keep silent. They don't want nobody to know. In order to have a new world order, you must get rid of it. And when I say Gujars, I'm being implicit. We tell ourselves that we're different, that this can't happen here because we have too much respect for life to allow the kind of evil represented by the eugenics movement to ever be taken seriously, let alone become national policy. Yet we have seen that it has happened here. In this chapter, we have examined some of the eugenic policies that were enacted on the state level right here in America. We have seen that this movement was taken seriously for a long time, and that it was largely because of our revulsion against the horrors Hitler and his minions unleashed on their own people, that millions of Americans did not meet a similar fate in the name of selective breeding or death with dignity. Well, as you already know, by reading Arthur Koestler, but now facts are facts, you're very well aware that the fake Jews just used Germany as a pawn. They only had 450,000. Now, some books will say they saw, like, you have the Wichita Museum that has, you know, they got 800,000 shoes. There weren't even 450,000 fake Gujars. They were the people that were taken there, the people who were misrepresenting, who owned the banks, who didn't want to stop, the people who had messed the people up, made people poor, didn't want to allow the homeless to have shelter, and those out there without food, they allowed them to die on the street because they were managing the money as such as you see right now, over inflation and debt, as you see right here in so-called the Great America, and then attempting to censor people with their indoctrinated lucid monkeys. That has nothing to do with ads. I know plethora of ads that can be played on this channel that illuminate this. But because they say it's not ad friendly, whose ads? Like the one they want to put up to push the Ukraine war that Ganja told me about and Timon told me about. And I said, don't you ever put those war, because they want to put out war games. They want everybody running around thinking you can shoot and kill somebody and GT5 and get right back up and start running down the street smacking people, punching them in the head, which you see playing out live. That's why I say, leave me alone. You better know better. Yet, it has happened here, and sadly the war on the defenseless continues right up to this very moment. But it is not a war that is being waged only against those easy targets that are already here. Rather, it is an all-out attack that is being carried out in the name of a woman's right to choose. And the targets are 57 million Americans who were never born in order to secure the supposed right. For since January 22nd, 1973, when the United States Supreme Court made abortion on demand a constitutional right, there's no such thing. It has become the preferred method of meeting the eugenics goals. Margaret Sanger, Harry Laughlin, Lothrop Stoddart, and others of their ilk could only dream of such a happenstance as that which occurred on that dark day over 40 years ago. For on that cold January day, the court handed down the most infamous decision in the annals of American jurisprudence, since Chief Justice Roger B. Taney ruled in 1857 that Dred Scott, a runaway slave, was not a human being but the property of another man. And we know the outcome of that decision, a bloody civil war that lasted 4 years and claimed the lives of over 600,000 Americans, both black and white, which neither exists, before the terrible injustice of slavery was ended and the rights of all were secured. How about the fact that Lincoln, the Negro King, You know he created martial law, right? And when he created martial law because of what the Chazars were doing and trying to make backroom deals with him, they would soon murder him and capitulate to create the real Civil War, which the one that was fought before that was only in lieu, because see, people think that he fought for the North. That is all a lie. He fought for the Republic. There is no democracy, because out of that, what came? When you want to know the truth, the democracy. And during the martial law, before they murdered him, a hostile government took over. And it wasn't a government, it was a people, the Chazars. And they started institutionalizing by way of the martial law he created, to which he attempted to stop with his generals, to which they succumbed to being murdered and poisoned. Do the research. And so this fictional government took over and right away started chipping away at our people and bringing millions of enemy combatants over, to which we was fighting a real civil war for the Republic of America, fighting most Pale-skins who think they were on the side of the South when there weren't that many of them. Those were our relatives, to which they hung and murdered. And then for our land and everything else, they started stifling away based on a fake banking system. There's a reason why we were on all the money. And it's not because of some damn slave. Because Dred Scott was not who people think he is. And he was owned by a nigger. And not really owned, protected. So anyway, for the Dred Scott, a runaway slave, was not a human being, but the property of another man. And we know the outcome of that decision, a bloody civil war that lasted for years, and claimed the lives of over 600,000 Americans, both black and white, before the terrible injustice of slavery was ended and the rights of all were secured. Yes, secured until you know who created the Ku Klux Klan, because they wanted us off the land. They wanted to subjugate, they raped many women and everything else, secretly. And then to grab 2 or 3 people based on the hundreds of thousands of acres, they would take thousands of individuals, sick bastards who couldn't read or write, didn't know how to work or anything, who were going to these big, they weren't called schools, and they would send them out there and have them murder them based upon a lie, because the only people that were raping were our people. The only people that were raping people were the light-skinned folk. Anybody want to challenge that? YouTube, security team, you want to challenge that? It ain't automatic. I don't want to hear that. You want to challenge it with your little bit of knowledge, your little know-nothing? Of course you don't. Exposing the expositions of 1851-1915. This is Howdy Mikowski's Rise 2021 from his 2019. You know it's the Court of Honors. Fake statue they put up. Trust me, it is. Okay? They actually had brothers that work on it, and then they put it up without argument. Okay, yeah, here we go. It's only a couple of paragraphs I'm reading here. Add. A clue was revealed in research from John Levy that showed on the old Philadelphia 1876 site, 1876, 11 years after, right? Which is now has a giant quarry on it. Could it be the location of a landfill filled with the stone from the buildings after the destruction of the fair? A site which in time, once the fair was long forgotten by the masses, could become a quarry that no one would question if the stone was really from 1876. The Philadelphia quarry even has a parking lot of giant concrete slabs, an area that would not look out of place as a pavement in the Giza complex. Oh, okay. Of Pyramid Egypt. If anyone in the Philadelphia area has a chance to get to this quarry complex, please check it out. Answers might be waiting right there for us. Fairs to the present. The fair stopped altogether after 1915, the war being presented as the main reason for the shutdown. which ended in 1917, though it took a long time to get them up and running. And when they did, again in the 1930s, they were nothing like they used to be. Fun and entertainment replaced history and artwork. Flashy, new modern buildings replaced the Greco-Roman style, and the 1960s moved to claiming science and government were the new answer to solve all our problems, where technology was seen as the savior before 1915. The early fairs were all about industry and modernizing the savages. Now to display that science is the new great religion. Do you know who the savages were? It was the Slavs. It was the Mongols, the immortals. It wasn't us, y'all. In that case, we wouldn't have rebuilt the capital and everything else. It wasn't just the capital rebuilt. Y'all really need to look into that. Modernizing the saviors now to display that science is the new great religion. The more recent fairs have had ecology and saving the environment as key presentations, which is ironic, given that many of the first fairs were all about how to control and force nature to do what humans, rather the ruling influencers, wanted nature to do in order to make them a lot of money. This change has become even more prominent today. Now a sort of utopian presentation focuses on outer space, AI, and VR technology. Only 9 corporations had pavilions at 1893 Chicago, while by the year 2000, almost every exhibit was corporate sponsored, in effect showing that corporations now run everything. Don't look at me. Behold a pale horse. Mr. William Cooper himself. I do it honors. Let me show you Mr. William Cooper with a punk's murder. Okay. Well, they gave him an extension life. Thank goodness he didn't return here. So he won't. Excuse me. I don't know. So let's pick up where we left off. The story of Jonathan May. As my reputation as a finder of the unusual at a fair price grew, I, with my colleagues, began to realize, now remember this is to a certain individual, okay? This is a telling time to July 27, 1990, a summary, to which he's making this, the story of Jonathan May, all right? He's addressing a certain individual, and we get back into that. So let's go ahead and read. As my reputation as a finder of the unusual at a fair price grew, I, with my colleagues, began to realize that there was considerable resistance throughout the conventional financial markets to entrepreneur. Highly determined but very independently minded individuals were not at all welcome in normal banking circles. There was a very real need in the independent business communities throughout the world for alternative credit facilities to properly and fairly provide for entrepreneurial needs. A window in the market for them between new ventures capital and dyed-in-the-wool conventional business capital, we decided that in a wholly novel and independent manner, our loosely connected but highly respected circle of that's right, it's summer, so there's going to be a lot of people coming in and out of here. Anyway, middlemen will become providers of capital for our established clients all over the world. Independent credit capital sources in the Middle East and elsewhere, and several substantial private placement arrangements were made, first between ourselves and our investors, and subsequently between ourselves and the users of those investments. We chose to take a minimal intermediary fee, but retain a non-working but joint venture profit-sharing interest in any of the enterprises capitalized by our investors, and we did find that there were never enough investors to be found. Otherwise, everyone seemed content. Always when you have the well compared to the well-wishers. You see what I'm saying? Right now, the government thinks they got you thinking that you're in debt, though they lied. One of the grandest part of the lie they committed to was the fact that they used an empty fiat to put you in debt. Ergo, what is the job of the government? To ensure that you are never in debt nor without. So here we say that the government's a fraud. I do. Why? because it wasn't by gold or silver that they put you to debt, but printing money themselves, to which they're supposed to be held responsible, not the so-called citizens or those of us of the land, to which they blatantly ignore because it doesn't fit their agenda. Because the majority of people are very unaware of this. You are truly not in debt. They are supposed to cover and take care of it. So when you see trillions in this goofy puppet or CIA agent walking around the mass spending this fiat, and all these goofies running up here are just ignorant because of what the CIA did down there and the cartels all over the world, whether religious or not, you are not in debt. They are supposed to make sure that you are well off. What do? They keep taxing you when there is nothing to be taxed because the money they print is worthless and has always been. So you're actually securing your own self, but because you have people ignorant running around with costumes and everything else, they don't look at this logistically. And most people don't know this. I would say damn near the majority. Like, I just had to throw that in there. Like many arrogant and foolish young men before me, I tended to advertise my financial success. I grew headstrong. Ego. The local small town police force began to watch me and became a significant nuisance, stopping me for tires, speeding, etc., etc. I started a butcher business and again made a significant success of it, also in my hometown area. Now my success meant the loss of trade by my competition. My premises were burgled successfully, and soon insurers would not insure me. I provided my own deterrent. I rigged a loaded shotgun and signed outside of my premises, and inside the cold store placed a very lifelike loaded shotgun and triple alarm system for anyone thinking of again stealing my property, as uninsured thousands had already been stolen. Now the local police arrested me for setting a man trap with intent to endanger life. My intent, quite obviously, was to protect my property. So I was very properly acquitted of this foolish charge against me. That's what I'm saying. If you don't know how the system works, then it will always work against you. Okay? Because what he did was not illegal. If you want to electrify your building, to which some places in New York had electrified roofs, you come through that and you get zapped. As long as you ain't got that, that amp that take you out. You know what I mean? It reminds you to get your butt up off that roof trying to climb through there. Okay? Now, having been advised not to rig up any such device again, I purchased a young mountain lion as a guard dog to continue to dissuade any would-be thieves. With 2020 hindsight, I realized that was not an appropriate thing to do. I began to be a minor celebrity in my little country town, and the local police were thoroughly incensed that the charges against me had been dropped. I had, very emotionally unstable that sounds, I had become something of a target. My high profile was not working for me, and by this time, because of my motoring offenses and the publicity resulting from the trial and the mountain lion, my family all but disowned me. I made it my business to establish a weak family, establish exactly who it was in the local police force who was instigating my problems. It was no lesser man than Inspector Goldsworthy. I hired people to watch his activities, and it came out that he was involved with drug importing. It's always the wild and the wicked ones who are the ones who will come up and pursue and victimize, create harm, shoot. You see that cop that killed that U.S. airman, Trigger Happy Monkey? They fired him. But did they fire him where he can't get a job nowhere else? See, ergo is the problem. He's not supposed to be working at all. But because you have a corrupt system, because I know a lot of good guys, I do. You have a corrupt system with heads who are just as dumb, who don't know no better. This is why you have this fluid problem. And there are sheriffs and marshals who watch these individuals. And they do take them down. You just don't hear about them. Because they want to get all of them. Heaven Bearers, The New Age of Deception by Janine Helen. I really need to get some drink, guys. That's it for the tea. Don't drink a lot of tea either, guys. That could be hard on you. All right? Remember that. All right, here we go. Excuse me. Put on the reading hat. I had to put on my reading hat. Alexander, if you don't stop doing that side standing, looking at me like you want to play with your back arched up, pumping around, I'm going to take this shoe off and throw it at you. You're kind of bugging me out, cuz. You know how the cats do that little, and they... I'm not playing right now, man. You know how they do that squeak, and they jump back and forth? I'm not playing right now. I'll take you out. I'm about to be done, all right? I'm about to be done, Papa. Relax. All right, let's get into it. If you are real, why can't I touch you? She looks around, and her eye sees a mirror from the house in New York. And the house in New York appear in front of her. The mirror is also suddenly much bigger than before, at least 3 times the size she remembers it being, and it vibrates the soft hum she heard both nights. The hum has an even deeper vibration, and it causes sound waves to ripple against her skin. She slowly walks up to it and reaches out her hand curiously, wanting to touch it, but pulls it away by what she doesn't see. There is no reflection. Stunned, she touches the glass with her fingertips, and again they pass right through it with ease, like a warm knife. It sounds like some Neo and Matrix type thing. Knife in butter, she thinks, and tries to rationalize the situation. A hologram? She mutters under her breath, talking to herself as she makes the realization that it is both real and non-physical at the same time. The universe is a hologram. Everything you see in it isn't an illusion or a trick of the mind. It is all real. It is just not automatically in physical form. It's your mind and thought that interprets it and makes it physical. Who are you? How do you know all this? Are you the universe or the creator of the different races of man? Her voice is filled with excitement, hoping for an informative and honest answer, eager to learn why she is here. The serpent doesn't respond. Instead, it slithers around her in a circle and repeats the words it hissed earlier. The circle must complete itself. A door made out of white light appears to the right of her, and it gives off a soft hum, different to the hum from the mirror, and it is much more appealing to her senses. It draws her in, and she wonders what it means. Go now, Bonnie. It's your time. No, she responds in defiance. I am not dead, and this is only a bad dream. I want to go back to Malcolm, and I want to go there now. She demands and walks away from the light and into the opposite direction. Where is the other door? The door that leads back to Earth and my reality. Her question isn't a mere request. It is another demand, and immediately another door appears. This door is pitch black, clearly contrasting against the gray nothingness that fills all the other space around her. And then it strikes her. The answer to the question she hasn't formally asked. Duality. The black and the white represented by the 2 doors, life and death, are heaven and earth. The one door made of light and the other made of darkness. The circle must complete itself. That is what the serpent said before it disappeared. But something isn't adding up. If she follows the white light, she goes to heaven or the afterlife. If she goes through, no, she returns. If she goes through the dark door, she goes to hell or the underground. Undergrounds are usually fun, right? A place for those who have lived an evil existence and must suffer for all eternity. Bonnie doesn't want either of these options because neither leads back to Earth and her reality. I said I want to go back to Malcolm. I don't want the options you present me. They are utterly useless to me. Where is the third door? I want to see the third door, she demands. Her request isn't unusual. Many before her have asked to go back to their former lives during an out-of-body experience. What most don't realize is that the serpent doesn't decide whether they may go back or if they must stay. Bonnie? A gentle male voice calls out from the light behind the door, and she recognizes it immediately. It's her father. Bonnie, darling, I'm sorry that you are here and have to leave them behind, but it is time. It is finally time for you to join me. A shadow of her father appears in the light, his physical form protruding ever so slightly out of the light, and he calls out to her natural instincts to follow him blindly and without question. She takes a step forward, and her footsteps, light and a happiness filling her heart as she takes another, until Malcolm's voice appears out of nowhere and startles her. She stops moving forward and listens carefully, trying to make out what he is saying. The circle must complete itself, Bonnie. Do you understand what I am saying? He repeats that line over and over again until it rings loudly in her ears. She looks over at the door of light and back to the one of pure darkness, then back to the light, and vice versa. Malcolm is right. The duality is key to everything, and a circle that must complete itself is a cycle that never ends. But what cycle? Why is she here? And where does the circle want her to go? Is this the cycle of life? She wonders, only to be arranged by her thoughts. No. The cycle of life always ends. Life and death. The body will stay behind and decay into its natural form, but the soul will leave the earthly realm, and when it does, it will come here. Here the soul is given a choice, the light or darkness. She shakes her head hard in defiance. There is something she is missing. There is some kind of trickery being played on her. She can feel it in her veins, even though she isn't physical in this moment. Sounds like an amputee with a ghost limb. Why is she given a choice at all? Her direction out of this place should be obvious, and the natural pull is for her to follow the light. The answer is obvious and pounds her like a ton of bricks, and she finally understands what is meant by the phrase, the circle must complete itself. There is no escape, is there? She calls out into the nothingness, directing her soundless words at the serpent. Make a choice, Bonnie, and remember, once you step through the door, there is no going back. It hisses back from behind her, startling her so much. No, she responds. She will not be forced to make a choice that doesn't cater to her needs. You are giving me the illusion of choice. I don't want that. You're living the illusion of choice, people. If you go through the door of light, I will wake up back on earth. If I go through the door of light, I will wake up back on earth. But I won't remember anything, will I? I won't be Bonnie. She realizes she has been here before, just once, in a very long time ago. But her memory isn't clear. She remembers walking through the door of light, and the next thing she saw was the face of her father. She thinks hard, trying her very best to figure it out before she makes the wrong choice. The words that the circle must complete itself may play out in her mind again, and Bonnie finally understands what is going on, and it fills her with anger. Never before has she felt such rage, not even when Azrael tried to kill them and lay siege to the empire. That's the whole game, isn't it? Reincarnation. There is no afterlife. No, we have been lied to, and there is no heaven and hell. This place is an endless recycling plant, luring souls into a false light, knowing full well that the natural instinct is to avoid darkness and the unknown. How many people have ever gone through the door of darkness and managed to escape this place? She is surprised by the words flowing out of her own mouth, again talking to herself with so much passion as the understanding takes hold of her. The ultimate trick of good and evil. I didn't read this before, so when I tell you I don't go in the light, it's not because of her. I'm older than her by 2 centuries. I mean, by over 3 decades. So think about it. 2 centuries. Anywho, was that a good read? Like I said, the enemy's little children should know who to play with. They're really stupid. Especially when they're those of us who know more than they can even imagine. I hope they all enjoyed that read. Let me shout everybody out. Ganja, Ha Sizzle, I am Baby Girl Slaughter, Max V, T Hines, what's good? What's up, my beautiful brother? Anyway, what was that? Let me see. My apologies. Yeah, you're moderator. I don't know why I don't see the thing there, Max. Okay. Oh, appreciate that, Baby Girl Slaughter, Niece D. Appreciate that. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope y'all enjoyed the music. All right, it's always a pleasure to play their music, man. I can listen to it forever. I really can. And I'm reaching out to my beloved brother, Jah Brickz, because I want to play some of his music. But his stuff is, he's about that dollar, and I want to make sure that I can find out, unless he has one he hasn't published or put out there copywritten, and and there's a few others. But I appreciate y'all. If y'all made any donations, I appreciate it. I'm not looking. I was going to order a book, but I'm not going to look at it. I'm waiting on a few more donations. And then somewhere, maybe on Wednesday, some more people donate. When we get into 100 years lynching, and I read those 4 to you. 4, German. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's never 1, 2, 3, 4. Anyway, when I read those 4 to you, that's even our way of counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. We didn't count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We didn't do that. That is totally opposite. What that denounces the truth of, So I'll go ahead and order a couple of books that day. Like I said, today is, I guess, Sunday, right? I know y'all starting to realize I really don't follow these days or anything. I really, really don't. I don't pay attention to time. I see an hour and 18 minutes above me. Otherwise, I don't care about that. That is for you guys. Whoever comes or whoever asks the time, I'll look up and go, oh, okay, that's the time that I guess you're looking for. I really, really don't pay it no mind. Appreciate you guys. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and I'm watching Will Survives. He's over in Virginia now. So a guy named Abe, who's been doing this for a while, is going to help him because the last 2 places he was at, the last place he was at with a couple of his half Mexican brothers, who's half Mexican and light skinned, had some land, and the individual who owns the land had an issue because he wanted some of his fiat that he was making from YouTube. How senseless and greedy. He's built a whole community, a home in the mountainside and everything. Got his chicken and his farm going. These are some stupid people in the world, greedy and senseless. Do you understand the importance of coming together and everybody benefiting from anybody, no matter, it should be more. I would rather be like, yo, I'm going to throw $500,000, all get in business. I got backhoes, boom, boom, boom. I got a special individual who is safe, who's going to come with dynamite. He's going to blow things out. He's going to be here. I'm paying for him to be here for a year or 2. Let's get it done. But we're not dealing with people like that. Not everybody is definitely not me, but yet I'm really hope. I don't like the word hope. I'm really doing my best to speak something into a positive reflection. Yet I'm very aware that most people aren't even aware of their true reflection. So I have to do what I have to do. You dig what I'm saying? Anyway, Appreciate you guys, and I'll see y'all in the AM. I have a few videos I want to upload. I hope you enjoyed the last one, and I hope you give some good input because I'm not really that deep into it, but I think it might sound with some. You dig? Yeah. I'm not even duality, right? I don't look at things half empty or half full. I don't have to. Yet I would love to see the people start looking with more optimism than the world that is, I would say, been pushed upon you. You know what I mean? All right. Again, ladies, gentlemen, brothers and sisters, intics and knock keys, that one a team. All right, Citadel. I'll see you guys in the AM.